to this event.
Good afternoon.
I request everybody to kindly turn off, make sure that you are on mute, and also turn off your videos when the presentation begins. Mr. Alok Singh is here from DCM Sugar. Good afternoon. Mr. Adepuju is from the Dangote Sugar Refinery in Nigeria. Good afternoon to you. A very warm welcome to the Sriji ITECA webinar. Mr. Khalid Bakari is also here from Dangote Sugar, Nigeria. Good afternoon to you, sir. Mr. Robert is here from Avant-Garde. Good afternoon. Mr. Bharat Singh is here from TSL Bihar. Good afternoon to you, and a very warm welcome to the Shrijee ITECA webinar on the ColObserver. The speakers are ready. The presentation is ready. We'll just wait a few minutes. There have been a lot of registrations for this event, and the room is still filling up. Hello to Mr. Sunil Holepagol, Mr. Mahmoud Bilal from Nile Sugar, Egypt. Very good afternoon to you. Mr. Steve Ajaigbe from Dangote Sugar, Lagos, Nigeria. Good afternoon to you. A very warm welcome. I see many guests from all over the world. I see guests from Nigeria, from Vietnam, from Egypt, from India. Mr. Hardesh Sharma is here. Good afternoon to you, and a very warm welcome. As you can see, our speakers, Claire and Bertrand, are ready. And we are just waiting for a few minutes so that the room fills up, and then we can start. Mr. Ashutosh is here from Mawana Sugars. Good afternoon. Claire, are you looking forward to this presentation?
Yes, for sure. Do you want me to start, or do you want to wait a little bit?
We'll wait a little, Claire. So
Okay.
we'll wait. I'll do a quick introduction in roughly 2 or 3 minutes, and then you can start.
Great.
Lucky is here from Sri Lanka. Mr. Nitin Kumar Alate is also here. Good afternoon to you. Very warm welcome. I guess in many of these countries, it's not even afternoon, so I should say good morning to my Nigerian friends. But it's afternoon here locally. Mr. Vijay More is here from Rajaram Bapu Sugar Factory. Good afternoon and a warm welcome. Yes, good morning, Mr. Adepuju. Good morning. So the format of this event will be like this. Claire will speak, and then we'll take questions at the end. So in just a few minutes, I'll start with the introduction. I'll introduce Sriji, I'll introduce the speakers, I'll do a quick introduction of ITECA, and then Claire will do her presentation. And after that, we are happy to take questions. Mr. Sudhir Kumar Singh, very good afternoon to you. Thank you everybody for coming. Please give us just a few more minutes while the room is filling up. Mr. Pramod Kumar is here from Birla Sugar, Hargaon. And we have a guest from Kibos Sugar, Kenya. We have guests from Meghna Sugar, Bangladesh. Very warm welcome to you. It's wonderful to see people from so many different countries, so many sugar professionals from all over the world, all in one room. It's so nice to all of you. Good afternoon, Mr. Anil Kumar. Thank you for coming. We'll begin in just 2 more minutes. The time that we have is 3 p.m. and it's 3:02. We'll wait just 2 or 3 more minutes. Good evening. Yes, good evening to you too from SNJ Sugar. Good afternoon to you too from Coromandel Sugar. Sometimes I cannot see your name, so unfortunately I cannot call you by your name, but I can see that Coromandel Sugars is here. Mr. Mustafa Abbas is here. Good afternoon. Please feel free to mention the name of your country or the name of your company so that we know where you are from. Sometimes I can tell from the name that you have, but sometimes I can't. So please feel free as while Claire is making her presentation, please feel free to use that box to type your questions, and then we'll try and answer as many questions as we can after the presentation. Yes, Mr. Sudhir Kumar Singh is here from Seksaria Biswan. So as we are about to begin, I request some of the participants if they can switch off their videos. I think it'll just be easier if your videos are off so that the speaker remains in focus, which is clear. Mr. B. N. Amarendra is here from Coromandel Sugars, Karnataka. Very good afternoon to you, sir. Mr. Sandeep Mishra is here from Shambhavi Associates, Saharanpur. Good afternoon to you. And we will begin in just a minute. Okay, so it's 3:05. Let's begin since the room is quite full. Welcome and good afternoon to everybody. Welcome to the Sriji ITECA webinar. My name is Sachin. I'm the CEO of the Sriji Group. I would like to start by hoping that everybody is safe and your friend and family are also safe. I request you to please stay on mute and turn off your videos because it will be a lot easier for you to see the speaker and hear the speaker. Please use the chat box to post your questions. There will be a Q&A at the end. Before I introduce our speakers from ITECA, a quick introduction about Shrijee. Established in 1976, Shrijee has 45 years of experience in the sugar industry. We design, manufacture, and supply turnkey raw sugar mills, turnkey refined sugar plants, and also ethanol plants. Sriji is very well known for sugar processing equipment, such as the continuous vacuum pan, falling film evaporators, direct contact heaters, sugar dryers, and several others. Sriji has clients in 30 countries, and I'm extremely happy to see the number of different countries that are represented over here. A very warm welcome to everybody. About today's webinar, I'm absolutely delighted to present to you ITECA. ITECA is a world-class French company. ITECA has more than 30 years of deep expertise in process controls. And the product that ITECA is presenting today, the ColObserver, is a really special product. It uses the latest image processing technology, and using these images, it can measure the color of brown sugar, white sugar, wet sugar, dry sugar, all of this in real time. And the HD camera not only detects the off specification sugar, the automation also diverts it so that it prevents contamination in the dryer. Now, Sriji is always looking for new technologies to help our clients. And when our team came across ITECA's ColObserver, we felt that this is a fantastic product and will be very useful for our clients. So we decided to partner with them. Please feel free to send us your inquiries if you find this product useful. We can be reached at sales@sriji.com. About our two speakers for today, Bertrand, who's not on your screen now, but will appear later, has been, oh, there he is. Hi, Bertrand. So Bertrand has been with ITECA for 20 years now. And in fact, he founded the color and vision department at ITECA. Bertrand has worked in both beet and cane sugar, and he has deep expertise in the color and vision department. It is thanks to his R&D efforts today that ITECA is the first choice for any sugar factory that wants to measure the color or to control crystal growth in the vacuum pan. Claire has also been with ITECA for 15 years, mainly in sales. Claire has developed the North and Eastern European markets, the Middle East markets, and the North African markets in collaboration with Bertrand. Claire also is actively involved in post-sales and does a lot of project management work. So with that, I hand it over to Claire. Claire, go
Yes.
ahead, please. The floor is yours.
Yes. Thank you, Sachin, for this welcoming address. Good day, everybody. Dear attendees, first of all, thanks for participating in this webinar. Well, during the next 30 minutes, I will be glad to share with you all the benefits the ColObserver can bring. Our company, ITECA, is a French company working for more than 30 years in sugar industry, as Sachin said. The head office is located in Aix-en-Provence, south of France. We also have a subsidiary in India and one in China. 60 employees work for ITECA worldwide. We manufacture and assemble our devices directly in our workshops. From help in expressing needs through to commissioning, our engineers travel worldwide and are always available for you. Let me introduce the color department manager, Mr. Bertrand Gaillac, that you have seen shortly. Bertrand has been part of ITECA company for 2 decades. He founded the color and vision department upon his arrival. Passionate about industry and the different processes he has encountered in the sugar and mineral factories, is above all a man of the field. Constantly on the lookout for new innovations to optimize the process and improve quality, is very active in research and development. At the end of the presentation, he will be pleased to answer all your questions. I have been working with ITECA for 15 years, mainly in sales development. I developed North and East Europe, Middle East and North of Africa markets in collaboration with Bertrand. Responsible for interfacing with the production hub, I'm also in charge of the supplies and production follow-up. Here you can discover our full range of products. The ColObserver is our online fine microscope, which follows crystal growth in real time. Then below, you will find the spot observer. It detects and sorts black spots from 250 microns per 250 microns on dry sugar above conveyor. Here you are. And the color compact is a lab color and spots analyzer, which detects and counts black spots from 90 per 90 microns. It stores data with the image of the sample for a complete traceability and provide instantaneously a ticket proving the compliance with customer specification. So in addition to the ColObserver, we also have a full range of equipment available to help you improving quality and customer satisfaction. But today, let us focus on online color measurement. A ColObserver, what for? Well, this device controls in real time the color of raw or white sugar in ICMSI units. It will help you improving quality and reducing production costs. The ColObserver is a 1 meter per 1 meter stainless steel box mounted at the end of a line of centrifugals above any type of conveyor, screw, belt, band, vibrating plate, hopper. It displays color trends for each centrifugal and for the overall production in ITECA units. It detects the ground lamps and out-of-spec color. It possibly diverts the nonconformities for recycling. It also triggers alarms and records video sequences on events. With the device, you will always have an eye on your production, and you will be able to detect every nonconformity. Obviously, I will explain later the following points in detail. I would like to emphasize the following point. Our device enables a measurement on the full width of the conveyors and not only on a single tiny spot. You will get then a better representativeness of the measurement. The ColObserver can either be mounted at the end of a row of centrifuges to measure color of wet sugar, which is so far the best location for a fast payback, or it can be mounted after the dryers checking quality. It guarantees a stable product quality with a total traceability. As we do real-time image treatment, we also detect the brown lamps. Herewith, you will find examples of analyzers installed on opened conveyor. In the case of the vibrating conveyors, one of the best locations is to set up the ColObserver at the centrifugal floor. Here you have also an example above the conveyor. This ensures that access around the conveyor is not impeded. For sure, we also have applications where an installation above the centrifugal floor is not possible. And in this case, the system is installed on a frame. In the top left corner of the slide, you can see Thierry's Leader factory in France. And in the center, Zucker Untitled, which is equipped with 2 ColObservers. As already mentioned, the ColObserver will scan the full width of the conveyor. I can show you as well examples on closed conveyors. We have screw conveyor, vibrating conveyors. And on this slide, you will find pictures of applications on atypical conveyor systems. Here you will find the ColObserver is located on a dragging conveyor. It is in ITECA factory in Colombia. And what is important to mention is that our device is able to work on 2 distinct regions of interest to fit the customer's conveyor. Next slide, let's talk about the ColObserver in itself. It can stand harsh environments. It is a waterproof and light-proof device. It has been designed for easy maintenance and easy installation. Separate compartments were created, each one with a specific function, electronic, optics, calibration, to avoid misaligning or damaging any component while working on another one. There is no glass but polycarbonate lexan. It is food environment compliant and has up to 250 times impact resistance of glass. How does it work? Well, the controlled light source illuminates the sugar surface and the reflected light is measured by our calibrated color camera. The camera raw measurements, RGB, must be expressed within the LA space and compared to the laboratory standard ITECA measurements to be converted in ITECA units. Samples are taken along the full range of the production and analyzed by both the colorimeter and the lab. The results are compared and plotted. The correlation equation is entered into the software so that we can provide real-time measurements in ITECA units. The ColObserver takes between 2 and 10 images per second. Every image is analyzed, and if a part of the conveyor appears in the image, as you can see there, it is automatically removed by our software. Once the conveyor is removed, it will detect brown lumps, their numbers, and their surface. The remaining image will enable an accurate measurement of the color. When the equipment is located at the end of a line of centrifugals, every time a centrifugal discharges sugar, it sends a top to the colorimeter. During the commissioning for each centrifugal, we teach time to the device, when sugar arrives from the centrifugals, and how long it takes sugar to run below the system. By this way, we deduce from which machine is coming the sugar we are measuring. The images, videos are sent to the computer in control room. I would like to say, and that's really important to keep in mind, that we communicate with any type of field bus and protocols, Modbus TCP, Profibus DP, Profinet, and so on. We can send the following data: instantaneous color, average color of the centrifugals, status of the conveyor or screw, discharging top, watchdog, measured centrifugal, instantaneous pre-alarm, instantaneous alarm. For historical records and traceability, we expect to receive on our side layer thickness of sugar in baskets, washing time, and discharging top of each centrifugal. So that will be what you will get in the control room. So the main display of the software is located in your control room. In this example, we have a ColObserver located at the end of a line of centrifugals. This is the Nordzucker Uelzen factory, which is the biggest factory in Germany. They are equipped with 2 ColObservers for 2010. The video of the sugar is sent to the computer in control room, and the software calculates and displays in real time the sugar color for each centrifugal. The centrifugal profile is plotted as the sugar is passing underneath the system. Then the average color per batch is calculated and the point added to the color trend of each machine. It is a good indicator of the stability of the centrifugal, and any drift can be detected. The global trend that you see there is also displayed as an indicator of the global production quality. The sugar thickness is constantly monitored to make sure the color measured is the color of the sugar produced and not the one of the conveyor. You can also have an eye from the sugar passing in the screw or on the conveyor directly from the control room. As we said earlier, measurement is done on the full width of the conveyor and not only on a spot, which ensures a better representativeness. When working over the full width of the conveyor, any non-conformity is detected and registered by our software. So the operator can visualize the video of any event and has full traceability on his production. As Sachin told you at the beginning of the presentation, when a non-conformity is detected, the ColObserver PLC sends a signal to the plant PLC. The sugar can be diverted to avoid contaminating the dryer. Let me show you a short video. I think images can better explain things than words. Alarm settings now. Well, we can configure 2 levels of alarms on the number of non-conformities, the surface, or on the color level. This is calculated on the instantaneous measurement. The warning that you see in yellow there can be used to warn the operator of a possible drift in order to leave him enough time to react. And the alarm, here in red, can be automatically connected to the plant PLC to deviate sugar and avoid contamination. As you can see on the centrifugal 4, the color is high. We are starting to be behind the specifications. This is the reason why the system wants the operator to keep an eye on the machine. For the centrifugal 2, the color is very bad. It's not new and it's not a single issue. We can observe on the profile graph that the last batch was very bad. At the same time, the operator realizes that the centrifugal trend is not good anymore. Usually, in this case, the centrifugal is going to be stopped for further investigation. In this particular case, C3 exceeded the color threshold. Instantaneous color amounts to 51.6 ICMSA units. Average color of the last discharge is of 41 ICMSA units. There's a strong visual indication with a red box surrounding the centrifugal display for the operator. Here you can also see red boxes directly on the video and each detected brown lamps, 15. In this case, there are masquerade drops on white sugar. Pink banner here on the average color is to show that the global sugar color trend also exceeded the color set points. It refers to the quality of the sugar and is calculated on the average color. For your information, the average color trend is a rolling average of the last 8 centrifugals in this case. This is done to simulate the color at the outlet of the dryer. Regarding the size, the kind of dryer, and the quantity of sugar it's able to contain. We then adapt the stack size of the rolling average. Please note as well that because C3 had an issue with a high level of brown lamps that increased the color trend of this machine, but it also had a huge impact of the overall sugar color, which remains out of the color set points. C3 will be stopped and an investigation will be done. I will explain later which causes are possible. Still quality settings. The average color is used to categorize the sugar produced according to different qualities. For example, red banner means low quality in this case. Green banner will mean good quality. Please keep in mind that all the colors, levels, and all quality names can be defined by the customer himself. That's what we call a customer-friendly software. With a simple click on the main graph, you can check video of any non-conformity of the batch. This represents a very powerful tool. With a simple click as well, you can display and watch a video and the data of the batch anywhere in the historical. The device records all this data in a database available within 1 year. ColObserver and centrifugal performance optimization. Every drift or event is detected and registered. The ColObserver, thanks to its image analysis, gives a lot of relevant information, not only on the sugar quality, but also on the centrifugal itself, and will help you optimizing the maintenance and save time. The video recordings and the analysis of the detected brown lamps, color, shape, quantity, and surface lead to a better understanding of the centrifuge operation. The customer will learn and then identify problems immediately, optimize and reach the best tune of each centrifugal. Maintenance can therefore be optimized as the problems are easily detected. Let's take a few examples. If you have big stains of masquits on the conveyor, that means you have masquit supply issue. When sugar becomes yellow, there is no water to wash sugar. You are having wash water supply issue. 3. Wash water manifold issue. We detect 3 nozzles obstruction in this case. And in this case, color waves on sugar are observed. 4. If some parts of brown sugar are stuck in the basket and give brown lumps on the sugar, that may come from plus discharger or what we call scraper. Talking about the basket, well, as the ColObserver gives the color of each batch for this centrifugal, it is easy to adjust the cake thickness to the maximum, being certain to remain in the requested quality. And finally, washing time optimization. It is really the key parameter that the ColObserver enables to manage and has a quick payback. We will see that 1 second of washing time less saves 3 kilos of sugar for each cycle of each centrifugal. Our colorimeter communicates with each centrifugal. In that way, the operator knows exactly which one of his centrifuge has what type of problem. Online measurement is totally possible on screw conveyors. With screw conveyors, we set up a rotation detector directly on the screw axis and synchronize the strobe light measurement to the blade of the screw. This allows a good optimization of the measurement area, as the image is always taken on the best location. And the best location is where there is more sugar on a larger surface. We always analyze the widest possible image. When the centrifugal cycles are properly defined and separated, we can still provide the color trend for each centrifugal. In this case, you can observe that the same computer is able to manage up to 2 colorimeters on 2 separate screens. We have 2 screw conveyors and 2 different sensors. The ColObserver is designed for raw and white sugar. We can configure different alarm thresholds and set points according to the sugar quality. For instance, we can say the correlation equation for each sugar quality with different range of color and use the one corresponding to the ongoing quality produced. In this case, C9 average color between 600 and 750 ICMSA units could as well be 30 ICMSA units and 1,500 ICMSA units. Our ColObserver is a multi-products analyzer. Impact of the washing time on color. The sugar color, as you know, strongly depends on the masquit quality, but can be modified by adjusting the volume of water sprayed in the centrifugals. We did that in several factories worldwide. On the screen on this slide, it's a screenshot of Twanga Mills Sugar Factory in Olovo, Malawi. This graph shows the impact of washing time on color. Going gradually from 2 seconds of washing time to 20 seconds brings the color from 1,500 ICMSA units to 1,100 ICMSA units. With the ColObserver, you can closely control the water volume used and keep the sugar color in between your predefined limits. I will still take the example of Noordsuiker-Ulsen. This is what most of our customers do. Automatically optimize the washing time to control wash water volume and then avoid remelting good sugar. This is how you're going to get fast and important payback. In this application, the colorimeter is located at the end of a line of centrifugals. It is located on the centrifugal floor using an existing hole. That means we measure the color underneath the concrete floor. For the customer, it represents a full access to the conveyor and an easy maintenance on the device. In this case, the PLC of the centrifugal uses two types of information to optimize the washing time. The first one is a sugar color delivered by the ColObserver, and the second one is the basket sugar thickness given by the radar sensor. The centrifugal PLC displays the last three colors measurements of a centrifugal. The washing time is set according to the sliding average over these three measurements and the thickness measurement. The washing time remains active on color even when the thickness radar measurement is off. Another application with another brand of centrifuges. This application has been installed in 2006 in La Sucrerie de Bourdon in France with 5th scale centrifugals. These three centrifugals, which had been installed at the same time and all of the same brand 5th scale, had unfortunately very different washing times setup. The colorimeter allowed to reduce the washing times from 14, 10, and finally 8 seconds. This stabilized the color of sugar produced by each centrifugal at the set point color. There was no more overwashing and they get real energy savings, obviously. Online color measurements allows calculating the exact amount of water necessary for each centrifugal to produce sugar color within the predefined limits. According to centrifuge suppliers, the amount is closer to 5 kilograms rather than 3, as you can see on the slide, for the latest manufactured centrifugals with high capacity of mass create. Application on dry sugar. As I told you at the beginning of the presentation, measurement on dry sugar is also possible. On the screen, a case where the customer stocks the sugar in 4 different silos. Each silo has a specific color. The sugar is discharged on a screw conveyor and the blend of the 4 qualities is dropped into the bagging station. Operators were manually blending the sugar extracted from the 4 silos, but the precision was very bad and fluctuated a lot. A colorimeter was installed to automatically control the melting of the 4 silos to get to the desired sugar color according to the specification. The software controls the rotary valves of each silo in order to blend the quality of each silo together. Level sensors are also used to check the sugar volume inside the silos and make sure it can be used for blending. The operator enters the color set point according to the specification required by the final customer, and an algorithm will manage the rotary valves in real time to achieve the targeted quality. Low quality sugar can be used when blended with high sugar quality sugar. This enables, obviously, to reduce losses. The final overall color is monitored by the colorimeter. You can see the flat curve in the green area. The color is finally stabilized. No production is rejected for non-conformity. The sugar is devoted to the bagging station. I will close the presentation with this slide wrapping up all the benefits the ColObserver can bring. I will now give the floor to Mr. Gaillac to answer all your questions. Thank you for your attention.
Maybe Sachin will have some words. Sachin?
Yes, hi Bertrand.
Hi.
So how do you want to read the questions from the chat? Should I read them for you? Is that better for you?
Okay, we'll try to reach the chat.
Oh, let me see how we can. I'm trying to find the first question and then maybe I can get you started. Or
can you please, for the first question, can you please read it?
Read it for us.
Yes, sure. Just give me a second because, yeah, just give me a second. So the first question is from Mr. Mahmoud Nabavi, and he's asking, does it have a separate control system such as the PLC?
Is this system integrated PLC?
It's not clear to me. He's saying, does it have a separate control system like PLC? Maybe you can just explain again.
Yes, I understand the question. I think so. So you have to know that the system is integrated PLC inside, embedded PLC, and our PLC is able to communicate with the plant PLC. Okay, so we have different communication. So, and it's possible in case of blending, for example, for sugar, to manage all the blending with our own PLC. We don't need external PLC for that. Okay.
The next question is from Mr. Bharat Singh, asking, which method do you use to do the analysis of the sugar color?
We use the normal method used for the ITECA method, and I think maybe it misses in the presentation. We find a correlation. We found a correlation between our measurement and the ITECA method measurement. So we make a comparison at the startup of the system between our system and the laboratory of the sugar plant. So at the beginning, we take a couple of points of samples at different quality of sugar or different washing time of adjustment for the centrifuges. And so we determine a correlation between our system and the ITECA method realized in the laboratory.
Okay, the next question is from Mr. Robert. How absorption found in solid? Is that enough information for you, or should we can also request him to type his question again if you feel you need more information.
Yeah, I think I need more information.
Mr. Robert, can you please type your question again? We don't understand it. Please give like more details in your question. The next question is from Mr. PP. Does it work with brown sugar?
Yep, we show in the previous slide that the system is able to work on the raw sugar. We have plenty application on the raw sugar. So brown sugar, and so we have very high color sugar application. So it's not a problem for our system.
The next question is from Coromandel. They are asking, how will it work in the FBD, in the fluidized bed dryer? How will the ColObserver and the fluidized bed dryer work together? Will this come before the dryer, after the dryer?
In fact, yes. Well, the system doesn't work on the fluidized bed dryer. We have to be after or before. Okay, because the aspect of sugar inside is not correct. But for the moment, we have no application on this one. We have application after on dry sugar or before, just before this kind of dryer. Okay.
Okay, so usually you place it before the dryer, right? So that you can divert the off-spec. Okay.
This is the best location.
There is another question from Mr. Robert. How depth color analyst hopper or conveyor? Mr. Robert, I request you to please type your question again, or maybe at the end we can give you the mic so you can ask it yourself. Mr. Jagadish is asking, this question has already been asked. So the sugar color is by which ITECA method? Do you want to just clarify your answer again, Bertrand? The sugar color is by which ITECA method?
There is only one ITECA method.
Yes. Usually we follow the ITECA method used by the laboratory of our customer. Okay. So it means that usually I don't have in mind the exact ITECA method used currently, but so this is the customer which decides what kind of ITECA methods he want to use. Usually this is the latest one. But you have to understand that our system is calibrated with the help of the laboratory. So this is the laboratory ITECA methods used, which is the power of God, you know.
Right. So before, when you come to install the system, you work very closely with the lab, make sure that your system is calibrated to the lab. Is that right?
No, in fact, our system, due to the fact that we have a lot of systems around the world, we know the correct calibration that we need to use regarding the customer needs and the customer application. But after our system is installed and when we are making the commissioning, we will take samples and we will check with the laboratory the difference between our color measurement and the laboratory measurement. And we will check if the correlation between our raw measurement and the final measurement done by the laboratory has changed comparatively to common method that we are using, common correlation that we are using. So at the end, we tune finally our system, okay, to take account about the production needs and the production. For example, if you are working after 2 or 3 shakers, because we have a group of centrifuge on the first shaker, a second group on the second shaker, and the third group on the third shaker, and our system is located at the end of all this line, we should have some difference of aspect in the sugar, which will oblige us to use 3 kinds of correlation. If we are on the same shaker, usually we use the same correlation. For example, in screw conveyor, this is the same. So usually when the system arrives, we have ever entered inside a common correlation for this kind of conveyor, and after according some sampling operations with the laboratory, we will adjust our system. So usually it takes a few days to do that, 2 or 3 days. Okay.
Okay. The next question is from Mr. Ade Poju. I think he's from Dangote Sugar, Nigeria. Can the ColObserver measure more than 1 centrifuge? And if yes, how many centrifuges can one ColObserver monitor at a time?
In fact, it depends how the centrifuges are spread on the conveyor. For example, we have an application, I think it's in Dubai, where we control 14 centrifugals. Okay, this is but it's possible because the overlapping is not very big. In fact, in 10 minutes or 30 minutes, we are sure to have seen all the centrifugal, because the main problem is each centrifugal unload regarding the energy saving system which will start a centrifugal when a centrifugal will slow down, and so on. So we may have some overlapping, so overlayer of sugar. So we may have one centrifugal number 3 unloading on a number 4, and so on. So we see with the customer if it's possible to avoid this kind of behavior, and at the same time, if usually we see all the centrifugals. Sometimes, for example, the number 1 is hidden by the number 8, but sometimes we have some part of number 1, and that's enough to have a good idea about the color of the number 1. So this is the reason why this system is may work up to 14 centrifugal, but you have to take care about the overlapping problem.
Okay. I think this is a repeat question maybe, but you want to clarify. Does the ColObserver require a separate PLC DCS, or can it be hooked up to the existing DCS?
No. In fact, our system is complete. We provide our system with a PLC embedded inside and with a computer, okay, located in the control room. Okay, and after we have a connection between our system and the plant system. So we use usually Profibus, Profinet, Modbus TCP, and so on. And what you need, because we are open for all the field bus communication, or we use 4 to 20 milliamperes logical input-output to communicate with the plant PLC. So we have all the communication abilities.
Okay. So the next question is.
Sorry, just a point. Our software is like a small DCS. So in our software on the computer, you can see all the historicals, all the history of your production. Okay, we are using a database, so it's possible for to see all your production up to 1 year. And so you have images, video of each point which is recorded, and so on. So it's a complete DCS system, okay? But usually our system is connected to the plant DCS, and we'll communicate with the plant DCS to give the color for each centrifugal, the color, the global color average, the alarms in case of bad measurement, bad color on sugar, bad color on the global sugar, and so on. So usually before installing our system, we have a communication, we discuss with the plant to see what the plant needs about the data that we have to exchange, okay?
Okay. Bertrand, can you explain again how the ColObserver optimizes the water application?
Yeah, sure. Because using the ColObserver, you will use the quality targets. Okay, so for example, if you have 4 centrifugals, you will adjust to be sure to be in the target of the quality. You will adjust, I don't know, at 16 or 12 seconds, depends the brand and the centrifugal, but it's just an example. You will adjust to 12 seconds your washing time to be sure to be in the target of your quality and to avoid any non-conformity for the quality. But using the ColObserver, you will see that in fact, if you use 10 seconds, you will stay in the target because you overwash. At the beginning, you overwash your sugar. And maybe you will see that for the centrifugal number 2, it's possible to reach 8 seconds or maybe 7 seconds and stay in the target of the color. And so at the end, you will see that for each centrifugal, you may have different washing time, and you will be able to reduce for each one and to be close to the maximum of the limit of the color that you want to reach to stay in the target of quality, but you will save a lot of seconds for each one. And we discover when we install our system that in fact, each centrifugal is different because the wearing of the centrifugal is not the same, the quality of the basket, so the screen in the basket is not the same, and so on. So at the end, and the location of the centrifugal is not the same regarding the distributor and regarding the location of each vacuum pan, which will feed the distributor and so on. So at the end, usually you have to adjust independently the washing time for each machine. And if you do that, you will save the maximum of money. And you will be sure to maintain the quality of your sugar, but with less water.
Okay, the next question is from the Meghna Group, Bangladesh. It's kind of a long question, so I'll read it slowly. They have two lines, and for the A line, they produce R1 sugar, and they use 7 centrifuges and 1 conveyor belt. And then for the B line, they produce R2 to R5 sugar, and there again, they have 7 centrifuges. So they produce different color sugars. Now, their question is, how many units of the ColObserver will they need?
So you need two ColObserver, one for each line. Okay. And after this, we need a communication between your plant and our ColObserver to say to the ColObserver, this is this quality and this is this quality. Our ColObserver is multi-product software. So if you say to the ColObserver, now I will produce a product with this color, our system will change automatically all the adjustments, the correlation, the scale, the color of the target, and so on, to be ready for this new quality. So usually we have, so it means that for one line you need only one system, okay, and the system will be automatically adapted to the quality that you plan to produce.
Okay, the next question is from Mr. Ravi Prasad. He's asking, how much distance is needed to install the control light and the color camera on the hopper? That's the first question.
To install the system above the floor of the centrifugal. Why? Because it's very easy to maintain, and the system is far from the sugar. It's better for a lot of things. And in this case, our system is located up to 3 meters high from the sugar. This is the maximum that we have tested. And we have very strong lights. In this case, we are using only xenon flash lamps. And so we are able to work up to 3 meters from the sugar.
And Bertrand, what is the impact of sugar dust on your equipment?
The impact should be important in the part of dry sugar. On white sugar, usually we have no dust issues because in this environment, the dust, we have some dust, but you have to see, I don't know if you can see my, okay, yes, you can see my laser.
Yes.
On the share screen.
It's
yes,
it's okay. A red dot, yeah.
Yeah, okay, so the window of the system is located at this level, okay, not at the bottom, okay. So it means that in this area, we have a very calm location where without any dust and so on. And usually we clean the window. We ask the customer to clean the window on white sugar at each campaign or every 3 months. Okay, but it's not very important to clean it because usually it's very clean. But in the case of dust, because we are working on dry sugar, in this case, we ask to the customer to clean the window every week. To clean the window is very easy because you have just to push a button to say, I will clean the window. And automatically the system will open a flap to protect the sugar from the cleaning operation. An internal flap inside will open. And after the customer just to open this door and clean the window, clean the reference plate, because inside we have a reference plate too. And after close the door and push a button, and automatically the protected flap will go back to let the system running again. Okay, so when we are on dry sugar, we ask to the customer, or on dry sugar or on wet sugar, but on screw conveyor, we ask the customer to put 2 dedusting system vacuum suckers, if you want, before and after the system to prevent the system to have too much dust. Okay, and sometimes we had on the opposite side of this image, on the opposite side of the system, we have a inlet that we can open, and on the inlet we can adapt a blower to blow fresh air, to pressurize a little bit this area inside, this room area inside, to be sure to avoid any dust contamination of our windows. Okay, so this is a discussion with the customer, and we see with him how to prevent this dust problem. But usually we find a system, we find a solution.
Okay, there are many questions, but some of the questions have been asked already, Bertrand. So I'll have to skip some of them, but I'll try my best. Are there any extra precautions that have to be taken during the installation or before and after the installation to make sure that we get the correct results for the sugar color? Any special precautions that have to be taken?
Yes, for sure. The first, you have to avoid to hit the system against the floor during the manipulation. But after, when you install it, it's very easy to install, because the system, we have two types of installation. The first one is the system is located on the floor of the centrifugal, because we are working on the vibrating plate. So in this case, you have just to plug the system on the flange that you have installed before. We send the drawing, so it's very easy to install. And so there is no big problem for that. The second point is if you need to install a system on the conveyor and you cannot make a hole, and you cannot drill the floor of the centrifugal, you have to install the system on a frame above your conveyor. In this case, okay, you have to take care. And after we have other application on the belt conveyor or screw conveyor. The system is only plugged on the conveyor. For the belt conveyor, you have just to provide a frame and we will provide to you all the drawings. So the manipulation is not very a big challenge. The system is very strong, and it's not a big problem if you have no incident during the manipulation. After, you have to follow the system, because this is an online system and it's not a fire and forget system. When we put an online system, we have to follow the system. Follow means check if everything is okay. If the air conditioning system is working well, you can see, we have here a Peltier system, which is a totally waterproof system. Okay. But you have to take care that the fan of the system is running well. And so we have some, if it's not the case, you may have some drift in the measurement because the temperature inside is not correct. For example, you have to take care about the cleanness of the window and the cleanness of the internal calibration plate, or the cleanness of the external calibration plate. When you are using the system on the screw conveyor and belt conveyor, we have another calibration plate integrated in the spacer located just below this system. And so if you take care about the cleanness, you take care that everything is okay for the temperature, the system will work well. Only if you have too much dust or too much moisture, too much vapors inside. This is the reason why the vacuum systems that you have already installed before installing your system are very important. Okay, but I want to highlight this point. Online system has to be followed. It's not a fire and forget system. Okay, because I have a lot of experience on online system, and sometimes I see a system which has been forgotten by the team, by the maintenance team of the plant in a location, and they say, oh, it's not working. It isn't working because it's dirty, because some parts have to be cleaned, and it was not the case, and so on. So it's important to follow the online systems. Yep.
Okay. In fact, this question has also been asked, what is the kind of after-sales support that the clients can expect from, say, ITECA and Shrijee?
But it depends where, but usually in India, for example, we have a technician. For the other location, we have a technician from France, which can reach. We have technicians in America. We have the people in south of America. And with Sriji, we will train some people to be able to be able to make the first maintenance operation of the system. So usually our systems are followed and very well followed by our teams and Sriji teams too. And second point is that when we install a system, we are making a training. We are making two kinds of training. The first training is how to use the system, okay? And the second training, and this training is done during the commissioning, is how to maintain the system for the first operation. And you have to know that all our systems are connected to internet. This is a very important point. So from France, we are able to take the hand of the system to have a connection to the system if the customer asks, because you can switch off this connection to avoid any perturbation and so on. And in this case, we are able to take the hand of the system to have a connection and to our software and to check from France if everything is okay. Or if it's not the case, we have a lot of indication and we can help the technician of the plant to check the fuses, for example, to change the bulbs or so on. So this is the internet connection is a key point of a good services from our company. So this is the reason why we insist on the fact that we need a good internet connection when you install our system.
What is the maximum width of the conveyor that the device can cover? Do you have a limitation on how wide the conveyor belt can be?
For the moment, the maximum size of conveyor is on a shaker. It's 2 meters.
Okay.
Okay. But on belt, usually we work on 800 or 800 millimeters or 1 meter. It's not a problem, but we can go up to 2 meters without any problem. After the problem is the distance between our system and the conveyor. Because if we want to scan all the width of the conveyor, we need to locate the system at high level, and sometimes we have no place, no room space around the system which allow us to have the right level to take all the width of the conveyor. So this is the reason why when we can, we ask when it's possible, we ask the customer to drill a hole in the floor and to put our system on the top of the floor and to control the sugar passing at the floor below.
So Bertrand, there are several questions which are around the same thing. Is there a difference between the color that your system gives and the result that the client would get from their laboratory? Are they the same, or is there some difference usually?
Usually, our job, our work is that it's the same. But you have to take care about one point, is that I know because I have a lot of commissioning. I have done a lot of commissioning in my life. And usually when I arrive in the sugar plant, very often people say, okay, we have one ITECA of accuracy with the laboratory and so on. I say, no, it's not possible. According to the ITECA method, if you are on the right sugar, you will have 3 ITECA of accuracy. Okay, the repetitiveness should be close to 1 ITECA sometimes, but sometimes not. And when I started to take samples, very often I take the same samples. I split the same samples. I put in different bags, okay, and I give the second bags the second day, for example. And very often I have a big difference on the 2 bags, but this is the same sugar. But the laboratory gave me two different measurements. Why? Because it's not the same operators. Maybe it's not doing exactly the same method. Maybe it's not washing exactly with the same cleanness the small bin that we are using in the spectrocolorimeter and so on. So it means that in a laboratory, it's okay. It's power of God for operators, but you have sometimes some drift in the measurement, or very often it's due to the sample. Because when you take a sample, if you have some black crystals, for example, the dark crystals or colored crystals mixed with your white crystals, you will contaminate your samples. And so our system will see white sugar because it's not 3 or 4 crystals which are colored, which will change the measurement of our system. But for the laboratory, due to the fact that they are using only 100 grams of sample, if in this 100 gram you have 3 or 4 colored crystals, will change drastically your measurement. So this is the reason why sometimes we have some drift with the laboratory. The second point is we may have a big difference in the sugar aspect of the centrifugal because the load is totally different, or the moisture of the sugar is totally different. But usually when we have finished our commissioning, we have found a good correlation with the laboratory. And if the laboratory is accurate enough and with a good repetitiveness, we have a system which will follow the laboratory and will give a good measurement. And the same rather than the measurement of the laboratory. Okay, but this is a very important point that you have to understand, that our system controls all the surface of sugar. The laboratory controls only 100 grams. So we have to find the best representativeness between the sample that we have taken and the laboratory. And very often, to follow our system, we compare the color, the global color that our system delivers. And this global color is calculated. This is a rolling average of the last. For example, if you have 4 centrifugal, our system will calculate the rolling average of 8 centrifugal to give an idea of the outlet of the dryer. And you have to, and very often we ask the customer to compare sometimes the sugar taken at the outlet of the dryer with the measurement, the global average measurement of our system, and we should be very close. Okay, and it's very easy after to compare our system. And if it's an obligation, we may change a little bit the correlation of our system if we have some drift, but usually that's enough. And every day our system is controlled by the laboratory just by checking if the laboratory measurement at the outlet of the dryer is close to the global average of our system.
Okay, so we are, Bertrand, we are at 4:10 p.m. So I'd like to end in the next maybe 2 or 3 minutes. Some of the questions, let me just answer for you, Bertrand, about the presentation or this video being available. We are recording this and it will be uploaded on Shrijee's YouTube channel. So you can see the presentation and this video again. Some questions with regards to the investment or the costs. I request you to please email us with your profile and your needs, and we are happy to take this discussion forward. Bertrand, we are nearly at the end. One question on what sort of maintenance or cleaning is required to maintain the accuracy of the ColObserver?
It depends on the application. As I mentioned before, on weight sugar applications, when the system is located on the vibrating plate conveyor, usually the system is located on the top of the centrifugal floor, and you have a very low maintenance to do. For example, if you have a campaign of 4 or 6 months, you have just to clean the system at the beginning of the campaign, and after the system will run. And in the case of application on a screw conveyor, you have to clean every week to check the window, and if you need, you have to clean it every week because we have some moisture and some vapors which can stuck some sugar. But usually we blow we have a blower to avoid this kind of problem. But 1 week it's okay. And for the maintenance after, this is you have to change the bulbs. Usually the bulbs, we have to change it every 3 years for xenon flash lamp. And for LED, because on the belt conveyor and on the screw conveyor, we use LED lamp. You don't have to change it. We change it every 10 years, so you have time to do that. So, but the main point is to be sure that the air conditioning system is working well, the windows is clean, and the internal plates and external plates are clean. Okay, so every week it's okay for application on belt and screw conveyor.
Okay. Is there anything, Bertrand, you want to add before we close? Anything that I didn't ask, but you think is important for the participants to know? Any?
Yes, maybe we forgot to mention that with one computer you can use 2 ColObserver. Okay, and in fact we have 2 displays. And after another point, it is possible to clone the display, the screen of the computer in other location in the sugar plant. Very often, some sugar plant use 2 control room, one close to the centrifugal for the operators of the centrifugal, and another one, the main control room, where you can find all the plant management. And very often we have two displays, 2 screens, one with a computer located in the main control room, and the second one, which is a replicant. This is a clone of the first one, located in the second control room, close to the centrifugal, to help the operator. So it's an option, but we forgot to mention this option. And this is this point.
Okay. Well, thank you, Bertrand and Claire, and
Sure.
thank you all the participants for your enthusiastic participation. And it was a great presentation. We learned a lot. Thank you for making the time this afternoon. Please feel free to email us. We are available at sales@sriji.com, and we look forward to hearing from you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, attendees.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Take care.
Arrêtez votre vidéo. C'est déjà bien.